black hole. The supporters were deserting in their droves, and then they were beaten in the first round last year of the championship, and then beaten by Laois. But something very interesting happened at half-time against Laois. I think they were 7 or 8 points down in the second half. They came out and went man-to-man, and they played a great second half. And this year, you see a rejuvenation in Armagh football because they've gone man-to-man. They were extremely unfortunate not to be promoted.
Sure.
Against Sligo, Sligo got a penalty in the last minute when they were 3 points down. I was listening to it on Ocean FM, and they're so partisan on Ocean FM, Sligo men, and they agreed that it was never a penalty. And then they were so unlucky against Tipperary. But a mark of how things have changed. The athletic grounds is vibrant again. There's a great buzz around Armagh football. And whenever Tipperary beat them with a last-minute goal in the promotion game to win by a point, in the athletic grounds, the Armagh supporters waited until the Armagh team had warmed down and gave them a standing ovation off the pitch. It's a shared journey. They're not going to win in All-Ireland, but they're playing football now that the players enjoy, the spectators are enjoying it. It feels like a shared journey again, and counties like Derry need to start understanding that, because we're in that very bad place that Armagh and Down have both been for the last 4 or 5 years, and we need to start realising that it's about enjoyment, it's about playing the game, it's about expressing yourself and bringing everyone with you then.
Tomas, we know obviously Joe is very adamant about this whole business of playing football, going back to basics, if you like. Do you share that view with him?
I do. I think the modern game, Michael, has... the defensive style has come in, and a lot of teams base their whole game plan on being defensive, and they don't take into account the need to attack with pace up the field. I think you look at, we were discussing it beforehand, even Carlow and Dublin last night. Carlow went out, and I don't think that Carlow played like they did last night in the whole National League, yet they set up totally defensively last night, and it's probably going against the normal play. They feel that they have to play defensive to win. And if you look at the Monaghan, Fermanagh, Derry, Tyrone, Derry and Fermanagh set up the same way. I think Down will probably set up the same way again today. So even though Armagh will want to play attacking football, Joe, they mightn't be allowed. You know, Dublin no doubt went out last night with the attitude of playing attacking football. But if
well, hopefully we will get a good, decent game here at Port Kessler between Down and Armagh. There are a few changes on both teams. Let's get all the team news now with our match commentator, Ger Canning.
Thanks, Joanne. And having just about preserved their Division 2 status last month, Down now look for their first Ulster win in 4 years, with goalkeeper Mickey Cunningham back between the posts. His last championship match was in 2014. It's a full back line featuring Anthony Doherty from Downpatrick and the team captain, who's Darren O'Hagan, over in the other corner. Wing half Dara O'Hanlon kicked 23 points in Down's last 5 Alliance League matches, while Quailon Mooney returns on the opposite flank. At centre field today, it's Kevin McKernan and newcomer Neil Donnelly, who's from Tullylish. The half-forward line shows Conor McGinn, who'll be remembered from the 2010 All-Ireland final, and a third debutant today, Shay Miller. And then up front, there's a start for Jerome Johnston from county champions Kilcoo, his first championship involvement since the qualifier lost to Wexford 2 years ago. And Peter Turley is a late call-up as well, I should tell you. Now, opponents Armagh are also showing a third goalkeeping change in 12 months. This time, it's a debut for Blaine Hughes. Fronting him is a line led by Evergreen Charlie Vernon, now starting his 10th championship season, and Paul Hughes, who's starting his very first. Andrew McKay at wing-back is another debutant. Mind you, he's got the experience, Brendan Donaghy and Mark Shields alongside him. Mind you, there could be changes there. The options in midfield were many. In the event, they've gone for Stephen Sheridan and Joe McElroy, but he could well end up in the half-back line. The fourth newcomer for Armagh is number 11, Oisin O'Neill, while team captain Rory Grugan starting his 10th championship match, including the refixed game with Laois last year. Armagh's main hope of victory, well, you've been hearing it there in the interviews, it rests with the full forward line, featuring as it does this year the returned Jamie Clark, who spent part of last season in the US. It's his first championship match since the qualifier loss to Galway, and that was back in 2015. So 2 late changes by Down, 1 by Armagh, and the throw-in here at Port Kessler is in about 70 minutes' time at 2 o'clock.
It is, Ger. Thank you very much indeed. Lads, you've been looking at these 2 lineups and some of the changes in actual fact that feature there as Ger was lining out too. Is Joe, for you, the loss of Niall Grimley from that Armagh team?
Very constructive young midfield player, and a great excitement around him, and a great club name, isn't it? The Madden Rapparees. But the key thing for Armagh is their forward division. They've got a grade A forward.
One there as well as Charlie Vernon misplaced it, and here comes Quellon Mooney. Mooney kicks and puts it over the bar. Very good start. Good to see him back. His third championship match this afternoon. Missed all of last season when he left the party after the McKenna Cup, but he's here and he's performing.
Quellon Mooney.
Conor Harrison over there, challenged by Charlie Vernon. Harrison looking for a better afternoon today than he had this time 12 months ago, making inroads. Now where's the support player for him? Runs into a cul-de-sac. Too many Armagh players around him. Finally Aidan Forker got in a challenge, but it falls back, however, very kindly to Ryan Johnson. Armagh had a chance to clear and didn't do the necessary clearing, and Ryan Johnson's on hand to pop it over the bar. 2 attacks, 2 points for Down. Good start for them.
Great start for them, Ger. Again, Brendan Donaghy that time intercepted the ball very well, but lost it in the tackle in a crucial position on the edge of the D.
Where they just about retained their status. Got a draw against Cork in Páirc Uí Rinn in the last match, and that was crucial. So this could be point number 3 in the very early stages. Just 6 minutes gone. It's caught it brilliantly. No difficulty whatsoever for Mickey Cunningham from Castlewellan.
Well, that's a dream start for Darnham, must be said. That's a great strike. Very well hit from a difficult enough angle and playing into the wind, it must be said. At the moment, Armagh have the advantage of a good wind.
Going to be Jerome Johnston from Kilcoo who will take this. Not too many Kilcoo players playing this afternoon. They, of course, have won the Down County Championship 5 years in a row. He's taken his time over it, finally decides he's going to put it on the deck and hit it with his left peg. Taking his time over it. The Armagh fans urging the referee to whistle, and they believe he's time wasting. He's milking it a bit, all right, no question about that. Favourable angle, favourable kick. 4 points to no score. What a start.
Well, that's a start that Eamon Burns would have dreamed of. Fantastic start. Armagh
won the Sigerson back some months ago. Nicely down to Clark. Again, O'Hagan goes after him. There's a little push. Referee on his case immediately. And he'll be just happy if he can negate the influence of Jamie Clark as much as possible. Mind you, he needs to do so legitimately.
Yeah, that was unnecessary indiscipline from the point of O'Hagan.
So now, can he put it over the bar? It's a tricky angle, very difficult one. Asking an awful lot of a young player, but a very talented young player. It's way up into the air, as you can see. Now, can they cause some mayhem inside? Nearly. Vernon went jumping, lost it. Back it comes. Shields! Goal! Mark Shields! It's exactly what the game has required. Opening score for Armagh, a goal by Mark Shields in his 16th championship match today. His second ever championship goal. He scored against Leitrim in the qualifiers in 2013. When that ball wasn't cleared sufficiently, it came from Clark back to Shields, and a belter that Mickey Cunningham couldn't stop.
Yeah, initially though, a great leap by Vernon in the large parallelogram. Got his hands to the ball. Clark, to be fair, picked it up. Normally he'd go for a score. Had the vision to let it go to Shields. Had an extra defender coming in there just off picture. I think it was...
So with nearly 16 minutes gone, it's now a 5th point for Down, and that one and only score, that wonderful goal.
Hasn't got on the ball a lot. He's been very tightly marked by Conor McGovern.
Paul Hughes, that's a very probing ball in. That's a brilliant ball. Oh! It was Aaron McKay who was coming in on it. Gets a point. Could so easily have been the second goal of the match. It was a wonderful ball across field there, brilliantly played. Just look at this. Oh, he should have squeezed it under the goalkeeper, I think. Yeah, that should have been a second goal.
Probably going too fast, McKay was that time, but the quality of the crossfield ball, not alone well.
Where Jarlath Burns was the headmaster, former Down captain. Well taken. They breeze forward once again here through Conor McGovern. Nicely taken up by Conor Harrison, who was denied for that goal chance. And Harrison this time makes no mistake, his second ever championship score. The one he got last year was from a free, but this one's a point from play. And now it's 6 points to 1-1.
That's textbook forward play. Just takes the ball, beautifully delivered ball first of all. Lovely angle for the forward to run on.
Penalising him. Free kick to Down.
We saw that in the first game today as well. An awful lot of blowing for overcarrying of the ball, and that's what happened in that case.
Well, McKernan's through ball has been easily mopped up by Brendan Donaghy. Aidan Forker once again now, the 24-year-old. laying it off as far as O'Neill. Oisin O'Neill, St Mary's College student, been linked with a couple of Australian rules teams. Jamie Clark, beautiful through ball. Must be, great save again. Comes back out, Murnan sticks it in the back of the net after Stephen Campbell had been foiled by goalkeeper Mickey Cunningham the first time. Very good completion that time, and a goal that's come after 22 minutes. And that down defence could have conceded 3 by now. This is how it came about, with Jamie Clark feeding it in. Stephen Campbell stopped by Cunningham, but waiting and lurking with intent was Andy Murnan, first ever championship goal.
And that's a real
of this Ulster Championship, because the first 3 have been damp squibs by and large. This has got an edge to it. Back to Oisin O'Neill. Clark hasn't scored so far. He's been well marshalled by his man each time. That man has now given up on it for a moment and allowed Kevin McKernan to take it as Clark went deep. That's a good kick, really, really good kick by Paul Hughes on his debut. Another Crossmaglen player. Another point for Armagh. Now it's 2-3 to 6 points. They were behind, but they're ahead by 3 at this stage with about 8 minutes to go to half-time.
Yeah, sometimes derby games can become very claustrophobic. They can kind of...
Just holding it, waiting for Conor McGinn to come in. Plenty of movement, plenty of support players. O'Hanlon twisting and turning, that looks good. Super kick. Always gets a couple of points in every match he plays, Darragh O'Hanlon. And that's 2 points today, 4 points in his championship career. This is only his 4th match, and now it's a point they needed. It's a 2-point game.
Yeah, sometimes we talk about sidesteps, sometimes we talk about dummies. This time, just watch the pirouette. Delightful from Darragh O'Hanlon before he puts it over the bar. That's a great score for Darragh.
Great catch. Sure, that thing gets through easily. This is Shea Miller. In around the corner, behind McKay. Back to Harrison. And he thunders this one over the bar. He's got a 2nd point. Might have had a goal earlier on, but for the excellence of Blaine Hughes in the Armagh goal. So now it's Jamie Clark. Beautifully in. And Charlie Vernon fisted it. I think he thought it was gone over the bar as it left his fist. Downey to find the momentum again now here with Kevin McKernan, prepared to drive this team on, get them back into the rhythm that they were showing earlier on. Darragh O'Hanlon out to the wings here to Miller. Shea Miller. It's Miller time. He's got a point.
That's a fabulous score for Miller. He's been admirable up to now, but McKernan, this time I saw him playing in the Sigerson Cup final this year, a masterful in it. But Armagh downright.
And Sheridan back in here as far as McElroy. They have a decent enough subs bench, but then down have a lot of very important players that they could bring on as well. A couple of players worried by injuries. Donald O'Hare, one of them. Jamie Clark trying to turn in. This is Clark shrugging the shoulders, back into Donaghy. Oh, just ran away from Murnan. Goalkeeper's out. Murnan has a 2nd chance. Murnan! Oh, off the post and back out. They looked at the umpires for a moment. What an opportunity. A 4th goal opportunity presented and created by Armagh. They've just taken 2. Murnan was very near to getting his 2nd goal of this match.
Well, I remember as a young lad, I used to watch eels coming up fish passes, and that time Clark was like a Neil just gliding.
The goalkeeper seemed to get a touch onto that one. Just look at it again.
Just watch it. Great opportunity spurned again. Just watch the composure. He did get just a slight finger to it. Yeah, very much so.
Wonderful goalkeeping by Mickey Cunningham of Down.
Yeah, they will be disappointed of having missed.
But it's Armagh more and more and more becoming a strong influence in this game. Great run by Paul Hughes. How's he going to finish it off? Laying it off here to Sheridan, and Stephen Sheridan will be hoping the wind will guide it. Has he got the radar right? He had. How about that for a spectacular score by Stephen Sheridan, his first ever championship score in this, his 2nd championship match. And it's now 2-4 to 10 points. Armagh by 1.
Yeah, the people who decry the absence of long-range kicking will certainly be back on their heels after that one. Wonderful thrust.
Leading down by 2-4 to 9 points. Plenty of statistics in that game in terms of scores and other things as well. And that's because it's been a pretty good game. Joe Brawley and Tomás O'Shea have been watching that match here with me in the studio. Tom, we were hopeful before the match of getting a good game. We sure have that.
Yeah, I think it's been a cracking first half, Michael. I think in a way, the fact that they're not flooding up the defences is helping that. I think both teams are trying to kick it. Both teams are trying to go direct. There has been a few mistakes, but Armagh have taken their chances. We spoke about Andrew Murnan. He's causing absolute havoc inside there anytime a long ball goes in. I pump in longer balls. Jamie Clark is getting on a lot of ball. They're working hard. Down have scored some very, very good scores. Down have coughed up a little bit of possession. There's a good atmosphere. There's a great bite to the game. There's a bit of everything in it. I'm enjoying it. You know, it's the first good Ulster Championship game we've had this season, and it's close. Armagh have taken their chances with goals. Down had a great chance. They didn't take it, but it's end-to-end stuff.
It's end-to-end stuff, and that's what you'll get, Joe, isn't it? You'll get chances, and you'll get things where they missed this or they missed that.
More so with Armagh. I mean, Down are much more cautious. You know, they're much more controlled in possession, and they're giving the ball too late. And there's a wild lot of solo running, particularly the Johnsons.
Turnovers as well.
Solo running, and they got the 3 or 4 easy scores to start with that got them off the mark. But with Armagh, you can't underestimate the culture shift this has been. I know it seems an extraordinary thing to say that it's a culture shift back to playing Gaelic football, but in the first 10 minutes you could see their nerves, and things weren't coming off for them, and there was a wee bit of anxiety in the crowd because they're not holding the ball, they're moving it very quickly, but very quickly they got into their rhythm, and I must say it's been thrills and spills. I've hugely enjoyed the game.
It has, and the interesting thing about it is, from the very start, in the first minute of the game, Joe, you were marking down the long ball that Armagh was playing in, and this proved to be then a feature of the way they were going about it.
Well, I mean, because it's you know, to kick the long ball, you have to be ambitious, and you have to think to yourself, and the manager has to say to you, look, if it doesn't come off, it doesn't come off, but go for it.
Have the
and
confidence.
From the start, they've been driving the ball quickly into the heart of the Down defence. Nothing panics a defence as much as getting the ball quickly into the heart of that defence, making defenders turn. Defenders normally comfortable playing in a blanket defensive situation or having to turn and run back. They're not standing there waiting for you and then you're hand passing the ball around the perimeter. So on umpteen occasions, the other thing was that because the Armagh inside forwards know the ball is coming long, they're attacking that area quickly because they know it's coming. And so these things play together, and they have terrorised the Down.
It's causing consternation inside every time it comes in. Like Armagh should be putting in a lot more ball. But the other side of that, Joe, and I don't know if you agree, they've only kicked 4 points. They had a gale of wind behind them. Stephen Sheridan kicked a great long-range point. You know, with that wind, I think you should be chancing longer kicks. You know,
I take your point, but I do feel there's a wee anxiety at the start that was increased whenever they went 4 behind, because it is a new game plan and it is championship, and they're playing against a better standard of opponent than they have been. But I mean, some of the stuff's been fantastic.
Well, in actual fact, I was making the point to you, Tomas, before the match, where the Armagh goal chance.
Missed a long-range free earlier on, but from 22 metres now at this stage or thereabouts. Teams are level for the second time in this. Vernon is keeping an eye on him. Back towards the point scorer a moment ago. That is Dara O'Hanlon. And the Down fans will be cheering this one. Great kick. 4 points for O'Hanlon. And now a little release of energy and tension. Thankfully, nothing too serious. A little bit of jersey pulling.
It's not very much, to be honest about it. The game has been played in a great spirit up to now. A little bit of jersey
It's just nonsense, isn't it?
Yes, who's got the stronger texture to the jersey? A little bit of that game, but just watch O'Hanlon this time. Saw the opportunity, hit the ball with great confidence, and just at the moment, he's one of these players that has the capacity to influence a game. He's getting forward quite a bit. Couple of opportunities there he has taken. And
for his full forward position, stripped of possession there by Conor McGinn. Back to Turley. Here's Quailon Mooney, who was playing in the MCG for Collingwood not too long ago. He comes again, got the opening point of the match. Mooney from out near the sideline, listen to the cheer. The man who has swapped the MCG for the Marshes has got the latest point in this game. A second for Quailon Mooney, so 3 points in a row now, reeled off by Down. And just as in the first half, look at where the ball was stripped from Stephen Campbell by McGinn to set up the attack.
Yeah, but what has made Campbell playing out around the middle of the field? His best position, optimum position, is in close to the full forward line. But the nonchalant confidence that time of Mooney when he put the ball over the bar is inspiring from a Down point of view.
In once again towards Andy Murnan, was such an influence in the opening half. Then they might have got 4 goals, have to settle for 2 instead. That's right on the goal line. It's Jared McGovern there is coming in for some hefty treatment. Murnan launched himself at it.
Well, I thought, to be honest about it, Murnan should have got a free in there in the first place. His jersey was being tested. That should have been a free in, but Armagh somewhat unlucky this time. A little bit of stupidity again. Referee Conor Lynn, who's had a very good game, hasn't had a lot to do, in fact, in terms of officiating over, incidents of any consequence.
It's a derby match. There's bound to be tension between them because they both want to make some progress this year, and getting through to an Ulster semi-final where it'll be either Cavan or Monaghan would be a good start.
The first have a launching ball in long to the full forward line. I would say the reason for that is because the wind has gone up considerably, and it's difficult to direct the ball accurately into the goals on the right-hand side.
They also took quite a while in that first half, certainly 10 minutes, to come to the pace of the game. We're pretty much out of it for the opening 10 minutes. The last 25 is a different story. Down now, coming forward, Kevin McKernan. Against him is Paul Hughes, bypasses him. Conor McGovern was there, so too Conor McGinn, right in on the end line. McGinn fisting it onto the netting, but more to Pork Essler, wondering just what's happening. But they're still very much in the game. It's 13 points to 10 in points, so only 3 between them because Armagh had a 1-point advantage going into the break. Stephen Campbell hasn't scored so far in this match. They need to do something special. Can they do something special here? Maybe Jamie Clark is the one who can step up. It's not Jamie Clark, it's Anto Duffy.
Well, there's a substitute working the minute, a sub working the minute he comes in. The referee had given the advantage, but Duffy saw the opportunity and stuck it between the posts in the middle of the field. Actually, at the moment, I think it's Niall Donnelly.
Referee blows his whistle, free into Armagh. Well, they've been stuck on just 1 point of the second half so far.
Yeah,
Scores.
Yeah, the fluency we had in the first half is gone. It's maybe some degree of tiredness. Maybe both teams are just there.
They shouldn't have gone in for half-time.
They should have given a lot more fear in the
Breeze by any manner of means. Now look at this run here. Brilliant run by Quayle Mooney. Says, give me the ball. Down he goes. Donaghy, I thought, pulled him down. Play continues. I thought there was a foul there.
I thought definite foul there. Okay, they had men over. They had a great opportunity of a goal. As you said, Conor Lynn has to make big calls. I thought that time there was a free in.
Niall Grimley. Armagh breathe a sigh of relief. They get it back out to Anto Duffy again. This time he misses. The last one brilliantly done by Quayle Mooney from Ross Trevor. They got nothing out of it. So we've now got about 8 minutes plus stoppage time left here. Joe Murphy. First involvement since coming on as a sub. Barry O'Hagan, another sub, through the shoulder. Away from McKay, and that one's over the bar. Brilliantly done by Barry O'Hagan. Younger brother of Darren, the cornerback and captain. Is this Downs' day after all the misfortune they've had to endure in recent times with championship failure after failure? But now they've made it 14 points to 2-5, 3 between them.
Yeah, but look at the space Aaron McKay gave him that time. Hagan was able to get out to the ball. He was able to throw a dummy and put the ball over the board nonchalantly.
Mark Shields. Anto Duffy once again. He's made a difference. But now they need to make a difference on the scoreboard. Sheridan got that point just before half-time. It looked good at that stage for them. Stephen Campbell. Jamie Clark on his return to the championship. Was in the States playing with the Monaghan club in New York last year. In it goes. It's very short, very close, very intricate. And in the end, a little too many. Taking on his marker. Aaron McKay manages to help out. Back there is Stephen Sheridan, and Sheridan on the ground eventually. Conor McGinn there, looking a little weary.
And I think Conor McGinn, okay, there's a lazy tackle. Just watch this time. I think it's Barry O'Hagan coming in. McKay this time got a good tackle in him, but there was a lazy free given away this time. I think in some respects he was lucky not to get a black card.
Well,
McGinn was.
The referee is having words with him. Conor McGinn fearing the worst. There's already been 1 black card. He's got a yellow, so he stays on.
Yeah, he got away with it that time, I thought.
A player who can influence it in, I'm sure. See if somebody can get a fist to it. And he's gone for a score. It's 1 back.
Yeah, it's a good score.
So now it's 14 points to 2, 6, 14, 12. And an Armagh goal now at this late stage would see them take the tie.
Yeah, and it's what, about 24 minutes since they got their last score.
Are encouraging the referee to blow his final whistle. Hasn't done so yet. Jerome Johnston angles this one across. Wasn't easy. Comes back, and it's tapped over the bar by David McKevin, the substitute. Came on for Conor Harrison. and that might just be enough at this stage. Down 15 points, Armagh 2-6.
I think it is enough, Gerard. That time I thought Jerome Johnson needed to put the ball out of play, but a poor defensive play by an Armagh defender gave the ball out to McKibben. They made no mistake from an easy enough angle.
So David McKibben might have soothed a few nerves here among the Down followers. They saw their team go forward, 15 points to 2-6 Down. And Down have to defend now, and Armagh have to try and get a goal from somewhere, and that's very deliberate, very intentional. And I think Kevin McKernan will realise.
And that's taken one for, Kevin McKernan that time utterly cynical, probably says that he's taken one for the team, but this kind of mock chaos that we're seeing now is something that will sink down to the ground. Referee now probably will have a big decision to make in terms of issuing a card, but that was a cynical ploy by McKernan, who has spoiled an otherwise outstanding game by that act.
Brendan Donaghy just trying to get everybody to show a bit of common sense there. I know tension spill over, and I know they've built up for this game for a long, long time, and there's great rivalry always between Down and Armagh. And you can make a case for this, that and the other thing.
Yeah, he's got serious.
Thankfully, the players just get on with it and have their row and all the rest of it. The fans, thankfully, sit in the stands or on the terraces they stand and just watch on. And that's the great thing about Gaelic games. It doesn't spill over onto the terraces, thankfully, but the players need to behave a little better than that.
Yeah, well, it hasn't been a dirty game, but that nonetheless was a bad foul by McKernan. It's definitely certain to raise the
That's a black card, surely, for goodness sake.
Absolutely.
So the referee is writing the name of McKernan in, so he will make his way off.
Yeah.
There you go.
No excuses about that.
Free kick to Armagh. We've now already played nearly 8 minutes of added time. And this is what was happening here. There was Gavin McFarland hauled down by McKernan, and then everybody had their spoke.
Well, everybody had their spoke. Jimmy Clark wanted to take the free kick. That was a definite black card. Clark wanted to take the kick. A lot of people piled in. You see a lot of this at the end of games, particularly with the team that's winning. They love just kind of distracting their team that is going, trying to get the equaliser from,
They were hardly playing as many in the second half of the Champions League final last night. And you're right, he's just put it over the bar. It's Jamie's only point of the match. So it's 2-7, third point of the second half, scored by an Armagh player.
Once that aerial threat was taken out of it, they looked clueless. They didn't look like they were going to cut down that defence at all. Down came down and kicked 5 points, I think, in the second half, and it was enough to get them over the line. I think it was a poor performance by Armagh in the second half, because Down weren't exceptional in that second half in terms of attacking play, but they did enough to win it. And it was a poor second half, and it was a poor performance by Armagh.
6-3 the score was in the second half, and I mean, I thought that Armagh had plenty of point scoring opportunities, continually kicked the ball wide on the wrong post, you know, and didn't play with any conviction. And
there was nobody grabbed it by the
I think a big issue.
I know what you're saying, but there were, I gather, 18 different scorers in the match.
Yeah, but I mean,
last time we've seen that.
I think that what happened in the second half was Down played with little or no adventure with the strong breeze. They pulled everybody back. They just stifled that whole area in and around. And then they broke forward and they managed to get enough scores to win. I mean, they only scored 6 themselves.
Wasn't it always going to be the case, though, that when they hadn't beaten Armagh for 25 years or whatever it's been, of course things were going to get a bit squeaky at the end.
That's part of it. And of course then we had the obligatory depressing finale to every Gaelic football match now, where a forward gets a metre inside the defence. He's going for a goal. They're 3 points behind. He's pulled down. A heroic gesture by Kevin McKernan. He's just taken one for the team. And we're back to this situation about the inadequacy of the black card. Yeah. We talk about it every week. Goal scoring opportunity, red card and a penalty. The point of a punishment, whether it's in the civil law or in any sport, is that it's not worth it. But in this situation, it's absolutely worth it. As Sean Kavanagh said, look, players will reconsider it and will only reconsider it if there's a red card and a penalty, if there's a proper punishment, as it is. As Tomas was saying to me, which is absolutely true now, if a defender doesn't do it, There's got to be question marks in the change room.
Sure,
What,
yeah.
what were you thinking of?
Had Armagh done it to Michael Quinlivan in the league, Armagh would now be in Division 2.
Absolutely, yeah.
All right, that's more on that in a little while. We have a short break to take here on the programme. See you again shortly.
And he just turned and snapped at it and straight into the side netting. It was a good chance.
Plus, he had a man on the far post.
Yeah, but you have to give credit to Down. It was a huge win for them. You know, I suppose the last 2 or 3 years have had a few tough years, and it was a huge win for them at home. But like Armagh, for me, do you know when that long ball was taken, they lacked penetration in running. They couldn't run with the ball to penetrate Down. I know Down had loaded up.
I take that point to an extent, but they were so overwhelmingly dominating possession, and yet
They had enough possession to win 2 games.
continuously, they were trying to thread through either an impossible ball or putting a ball into a man on the 14 who was being swarmed. Twice, for example, they looked for Murnion on the 14. When the whole down phalanx was there, Murnion had to cough up possession. Instead of, and all they had to do was start popping points. And eventually Down realised they're fixated on goals. Down were able to stay in that phalanx. They didn't have to go out and take on the man out further out the field because they weren't going for points.
But to come
and
back,
in the end, it was very self-defeating for
But to come back to what Tomas was saying there a moment ago, like let's just look at the significance of this. Now, look, Down haven't exactly won the Euro Millions on this occasion, but they have had a big win, and psychologically, what does that mean to a team?
Well, it's huge for them. And another thing is there's a lot there to work with. There's a lot to improve on. They kicked 5 points in that second half when they turned over a lot of possession in the first half. They turned over a lot of possession in the second half. They should have nailed Armagh. And yet, at the end, Armagh were still hanging in there. You know, it's...
Armagh hanging in and Down 1. All right, it's time for us to wrap up this edition of the Sunday Game. Now, in a week's time, we have more Ulster football for you on the Sunday Game.